ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking back hits. Subscribe.
And you don't have this one? You're a stupid idiot! Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Marvel Legends action figure review on the Walgreens exclusive Fantastic Four's Mr. Fantastic. I gotta give a big thanks to X-Man87 for finding this out in the wild for me. Thank you so much for setting me up with this figure, bro. If you want to see his Instagram, check the link in the description below. And we get our third installment of the Fantastic Four. I have been saving the packaging for my Fantastic Four figures. Yeah, and I don't usually do that. I usually toss them, but I'm excited for what Hasbro's been doing for the Fantastic Four, and I just wanted to show off, you know, the three figures that we have so far side by side like that. I really like the box art, you know, and like seeing the figures on the back right over there is pretty cool too, you know. So I can't wait for the thing to come out. Anyway, there's a read-up over here on Mr. Fantastic. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it now. I really like that product shot. Then we get that image again. Then we get the spot varnished 4 right there on the very top, and not much more at the bottom. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's Mr. Fantastic out of the packaging, and this is a good looking figure even without those stretchy arms attached to him. I really like this Mr. Fantastic figure. We are seeing a lot of reused parts over here from the Pizza Spidey figure, but again, we do get some really cool accessories, so I do want to get a closer look at those, and then we'll get a closer look at Reed Richards. Guinness mas stretchy? Can you guess what MCU movie that's from? The wife and I are rewatching all the MCU movies, starting from Iron Man all the way up to Black Panther, building up to the Infinity War. We're both very excited. But anyway, we get these regular arms that we see with Mr. Fantastic, or we saw that earlier. We get this hand right here that we've seen before. You know, it looks like a Bucky cap hand to me, if I can remember correctly. We get fisted hand right there. And then we get the Ultimate Nullifier, which looks great. Not a whole ton to ask for with the Ultimate Nullifier, but it's sculpted fairly well. It looks good. I do like it. Pretty nifty, and it fits into that right hand very well, as you saw earlier just a moment ago, so that's pretty cool. Then we get these stretchy arms, which we have seen before with the Ronin Wave Mr. Fantastic figure. So you could see, and I got this from Fernando Tron like 10 years ago, and he had painted the arms black, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, you could see it's the same exact arms that we'd seen with Mr. Fantastic from back in the day, which would have been kind of neat to like switch out parts, you know what I mean, so we can get variations, you know. But anyway, I like the bendy wire in here. I've heard complaints that it is stiff, and I just want to get into it right now, so I'm just going for it, doing full-on bending right here to see how much I can get it curling inward, and it will turn inward that far. As far as getting it to bend outward, yep, I'm really going to test it. I did find that I can get the wrist to bend back a bit, so that makes me happy, you know, so I'm not really too upset about the posability of these bendy wires with these arms, so that's not too bad. And then will it go up and down? Yeah, so you could bend it like that too. So yeah, a lot of posability with these. And I'm already getting that thing where it's starting to go in a weird direction where I bend it a certain way, so you have to be careful. You keep that wire straight in line as you're bending it around. You also get a hinge right over here, so yeah, that's the stretchy arm articulation. And just to be thorough, to demonstrate porting them in, you can see how that looks. So, you know, they port in and they port out very easily. I like how that works out, you know. Very cool. So I like this head sculpt. I really like this head sculpt a lot, and I really like Mr. Fantastic a lot. I don't know why, but I've always really liked this character. I always thought he was just a very cool hero, and I love the facial expression. We get that raised eyebrow on the right eye, just, you know, a little hint of incredulity with that face, right? A little bit. And I really like that flesh tone too. A little bit of brown seeping underneath the gray areas, but that's okay. You know, that doesn't really bother me much. Same thing on that side. I really dig this hair a lot. I just think this head sculpt looks really good. This is probably the best comic version Mr. Fantastic head sculpt that we've ever seen. So I'm very pleased with that. For some face comparisons, here's the Ronin Wave version right there. I did try popping the head off of this. I did have a very hard time trying to do that. I wanted to try to do a head swap, but yeah, it wasn't easy. But yeah, this face sculpt is just, I don't know, way too bright, and I don't really like how the face came out. And then the Toy Biz Series 5, oh my goodness, that is, I've never been a fan of that head sculpt. I mean, I've always liked this figure. I like the interchangeable parts and everything, but man, yeah, that face sculpt, yeah, that's a bit whack. And then we get this other, I think this is a movie version. I think this is the second movie version, Mr. Fantastic. Like he's taking a big old shart Yep. So that one, you know, always thought was kind of weird. But then I think the best Mr. Fantastic figure that's ever existed is this Wave 1 Movie 1 version. I actually bought 2 of these because it came with so many interchangeable parts, and the figure is just so good. I should do a re-review of this one, but I love this Mr. Fantastic figure. I think it is the best Mr. Fantastic figure ever made. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this. I mean, there's an interchangeable part for every part of every limb. Like, you could swap an extended part for the bicep there, an extended part for the elbow to forearm over there, extendo part for the waist. I mean, there's extendo parts like all the way through, and it's just a really good figure. But back to this guy. Again, I do like it. We get this new torso. I don't recognize this upper torso from anywhere else. And looking at the Fantastic Four logo, I do like it for the most part, except there's a couple little, you know, tiny little dots right there. It looks like a spider bite, you know. And I do wish that it was a little bit more consistent with the Invisible Woman FF logo. You know, you can see that hers is just a little bit brighter than this one right there, but not enough to bother me. At least the blues match up fairly well, right? And I do like the wrinkles that were getting sculpted throughout over here. Pretty good looking arms. We've seen these before. A nice belt, and then, you know, we've seen these legs many times. I do think these feet are kind of weird on a Mr. Fantastic figure. You know, kind of a little bit of duck feet, but I always thought that was okay for Spider-Man because he's wall crawling and stuff, but I don't know. Just bothers me just a tiny bit seeing that on the Mr. Fantastic. There's a fantastic butt. And on the back, you can see we get a little paint splotchage, which bothers me just a tiny bit. A little bit of black missing right there, but not a big deal. Before we get into the articulation, I just wanted to show a couple of head swaps. Thanks to X-Man87 for this idea. You can pop on the black suited Spidey head sculpt because Spidey did have this suit at one point, so you can pop that on there. So that looks pretty neat. I actually like that. It looks pretty good. You could also take a Steve Rogers. I have a hard time popping this on there securely. It kind of just sits on there. So if you wanted to have a Johnny Storm going on, you could do that. Maybe if you could heat it up a little bit more. It's kind of cold in this garage, and then you could just add a flame effect like that. So I've seen people do that. I think I saw JC do that first. I don't know who did it first, but yeah, those are some head swapping options if you wanted to do that. But popping this back on there and showing off the articulation, you can see that his head will move up that far and it will move down that far. Get side to side motion, no real head tilting or pivot. The shoulders move outward or upward just that far, and downward you could rotate all the way. Oh, popped it off. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then both wrists swivel side to side and hinge up and down. Get an ab crunch that moves forward just that much and it will move back that far. Waist swiveler, and then the hips move outward that far. Kick forward, not back so much. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, ankles down, up, and ankle pivot. Now to measure out this Mr. Fantastic figure, you can see that he's standing at about 6.5 inches tall. And for a size comparison, here we have our new Hasbro Fantastic Four figures, all Walgreens exclusive. We have Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and Mr. Fantastic. And so far, I am loving these FF figures. Hasbro is killing it so far. I cannot wait for that thing figure. And for your Mr. Fantastic comparison, which looks pretty sloppy because, you know, I don't know, I added the extendo parts to these pieces right here, as well as that movie figure, which I still really like a lot, as I mentioned earlier. But we have the two movie versions right there. Then we have the new Hasbro version, we have the Toy Biz version, and we have the original Hasbro version back there. Mr. Fantastic Party, yeah! Then here's Mr. Fantastic next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Hey, so how's it going with you and Sue, huh? You know, here once in a while, you guys' relationship gets a little rocky, and I'm kind of into blondes, so if you guys aren't really together right now, I was kind of thinking, okay, sorry. I want to give a big thanks to you guys that watch my videos from the beginning to the end. That really does help the YouTube channel out a lot. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, as well as hitting that notification bell. And I gotta commend Hasbro for creating a figure with these extended parts over here and having the figure being able to stand on its own without any kind of leaning or anything like that. And he's on a rotating base, so there's no sticky tack or anything like that. He's just doing it on his own, which is awesome. I hope one day that Hasbro gives us a deluxe Mr. Fantastic figure where we get a bunch of interchangeable parts for all kinds of extensions and stuff, like that one movie figure. That would be incredible to see. I really hope to see that one day. So while this is not my absolute favorite Mr. Fantastic figure, it still gets a SUD rating of
It's not so bad.
And thanks so much for you guys that enjoyed the SUD video yesterday. I actually intended to post this Mr. Fantastic review up on Sunday, but the baby has been sick and she kept the wife and I up till 3 a.m. the night before, and it just didn't give me the time to make the video, so I came up with something on the spot, and I'm very happy and grateful that most of you guys really enjoyed that, so I really appreciate it. Next time I do something like that, definitely gonna go with the Steadicam because, oof, man, the motion sickness. But anyway, hope you guys liked the video. If you want to see a photo gallery of images, it'll be over at ShartimusPrime.net, and don't forget to follow me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links to everything in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
That's crispy.
Hey, new Shartimus Prime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face.